Hey guys, you're watching Double Take Debate. The news has come out this morning that Roberto Di Matteo has been sacked from Chelsea FC on the back of a poor run of form. There's no other way of calling it. The loss in the Juventus to the old lady in Turin, 3-0 seems to be the straw that broke the camel's back. Although that isn't a result that people should say was a surprise, because Juventus are on a over 50 games unbeaten run in Italy. They're no scrub team. They're a very, very good team. But it does feel like, it was only a few weeks ago that people had Chelsea as the favourites for the league and they were playing fantastic football, and Hazard, Oscar and Mata were the new best thing. And this just sums up Chelsea, such short-term memory that a few weeks ago, Di Matteo couldn't be touched at Chelsea. He was the best thing walking to a lot of people. Some people always reserve their doubts. Some people always will. With, even with Sir Alex Ferguson, there will always be doubts. But it did feel like this Chelsea team were going to have a very good year if they could stay away from injuries, because this squad isn't as deep as people think. And I think that's been exposed in the last couple of weeks, that if some of their key players came out of form, what would happen? And we've seen they've struggled. But he's gone. And, it felt like he'd get more time. Having won the Champions League, the coveted trophy that Roman Abramovich wanted, despite his reputation with managers in the past, it felt like this would buy Di Matteo at least to a halfway point of the season. And the fact that he's got fired before Mark Hughes, go figure. But, yeah, the Champions League, I think he always won that with an asterisk by his name, because he inherited a squad that was angry. It felt like it had a point to prove because of AVB, all the veterans I'm referring to here, the Lampards, the Terrys, the Dropas of this world. And they've always been one of the most resilient teams since Mourinho had that team. Since Mourinho era, they've been able to play with 10 men, as we saw in the new camp. They've been so brilliant at fighting with their backs to the walls that it felt like it was the perfect situation for a manager to walk into, play a team that could win now, which is why they weren't getting played under AVB. He was trying to build for the future, try and build a good brand of football, but it meant sacrificing results. I think a lot of managers could have done what Di Matteo done. Win the Champions League, I'm not saying that's a hard feat, credit where it's due. But with a team that was angry and a team that had a point to prove, Chelsea were always going to make noise in the competitions they were in last year if the veterans were starting with the new manager. So Di Matteo's gone. The Champions League, it didn't count for anything. A lovely guy, a good manager, someone that I could always appreciate in the post-match interviews to a degree. Obviously, all managers talk nonsense. So I guess who's going to replace him? Will it be Benitez? Benitez has come out and said he wants the job, but he's a long-term project. He is the anti-Abramovich. He will not be given time. There's no way. Benitez needs time to enforce his tactics, his way of thinking, the players he likes. And as good a manager as he is, the last time that we saw him in the Premier League under Liverpool, not what he's done since then, but last time we saw him in the Premier League under Liverpool, he had troubles. He's the guy that sold Xabi Alonso to chase Gareth Barry. This guy dismantled a Liverpool team that was doing really well. So it'll be interesting to see if he's someone they chase. I think they'll be chasing Pep Guardiola. I think this is the perfect fit for them. With the players they have now, Mata, Oscar and Hazard in particular. I mean, they've got Marco Marin and others on the bench, but with those three in particular, he'll know how to get them to play good football. He was successful at it at Barcelona. Admittedly, he had Xavi, Iniesta, Messi and all the rest. But this Chelsea team are no scrubs. They are slightly shallow on the bench. I think that's been proven in recent weeks with Torres dropping back out of form again. So it'll be interesting to see who they bring in. I think it will be Pep Guardiola, if they can force him out of this retirement after the stresses of all of 5 years of management or whatever it was. We'll see. He's always expressed that interest in London and managing a big club in the Premiership. He's always hinted at it. I can see it happening. I can see that's who Chelsea want with this squad, the way it's set up. So it'll be an interesting couple of weeks for Chelsea fans. The same fans that a few weeks ago were proclaiming Chelsea as the league favourites and the ones to win it all, who are now going to be over the moon that their manager's sacked, who won them the Champions League. The fickleness of fans these days, not just Chelsea. But it'll be interesting. But here's a little thing for you. £69 million spent on getting rid of managers at Chelsea since 2004. Nearly £70 million. It's mental. But anyway, just think on that. Double Take Debate. Chelsea fans, I'd love to hear from you. Other fans from other clubs, are you happy about this? Does it damage Chelsea's title ambitions? They're basically out of Europe, so they don't really have ambitions there anymore, I don't think. We'll see what happens. Love to hear from you guys. Double Take Debate. Stay tuned.